I I don't know if this was funny or weird, but I found myself in a position that I knew was coming, but I didn't know that it would happen so soon. So my oldest is really sensitive about things like swear words. Like we have a no swear word policy in the house for the most part. And it's
That's why I'm
mostly
not
in
over a lot.
what's that?
That's why I'm not invited a lot.
That's a big part of why you're not invited. Yeah, I can get over the smell, but the swearing.
So much swearing.
um, but he will ask if he can actually like if he can swear. It's so fun. It's such a funny thing because he'll be like, "I had a really bad day, Dad. Can I swear, please?"
I
Yeah,
love
you
that.
can. You can swear. I had a really fucking bad day.
Uh,
Oh my god, it's like
do
it's
you mess with him? Not like in a mean spirited way, but like in a yes, but you can't use the F one. Be more creative.
no. I should be. That would be fun. Maybe the next time he does it, I'll
Yeah,
do that.
not like in a mean spirited like tormenting him worse, but it'd probably actually cheer him up if anything.
Like as a parent, I feel like I've done a good job
No, it's
because
great.
he's
I love it.
asking for
Yeah,
permission before he's doing something verboten.
yeah. The little one does not ask permission, and says "damn it"
Oh yeah, your
repeatedly.
little one.
Yeah,
Ha
yeah.
ha.
He
That's funny.
yeah. Steph is not super happy about that.
Damn it. Little tiny damn it.
And he uses it appropriately, which is
Oh,
what's
that's so good.
it's super adorable, frankly. Um, yeah, just damn it. Oh,
Also, that's what I was thinking. Like, it's super freaking adorable. Even like my 13-year-old doing it. My
yeah,
13-year-old is
it's
not
great.
adorable anymore.
No, that's
My
adorable.
13
It's
year old,
adorable because he asks permission.
yeah, yeah, but like in
Can
general,
I?
so my 8-year-old, adorable, still adorable, right? We once asked him, 8-year-old, what? That's what we call him around here, 8-year-old. My wife does not want us to reveal the names. 8-year-old, what one word describes you? And without like missing a beat, he got this like really sly smile on his face and had like half closed his eyes in a really kind of a smug way and went, "Precious, yeah." Really very funny. But my oldest is now becoming handsome. He's becoming a handsome young man because he's 13 and he's 6 foot tall. He's
It's too
handsome.
tall.
He's not adorable anymore.
Weird tall people.
Weird freaking tall. Yeah, yeah. My wife's people are all descended from. I think their ancestral family song was "Good Things in the Garden, Garden in the Valley, Valley of the Jolly Green." You guys know the rest of the song, right? Yeah. Okay, good. You're welcome for that. That was that was a lot of build up for not very much joke.
I liked it.
Thank you, appreciate it. But he asked for permission to swear, and all I could think is, "Aw, he's gonna ask the first girl he's the first girl that he ever kissed. He's gonna ask for permission,
I
and
mean,
it's gonna
that's
be adorable
a good thing
and really
these days.
sweet." And she's gonna say, "No, I just wanted you to fucking go for it." I don't know how to feel about that. That like I once asked a girl permission, and it totally
Did it not go well?
man, it dried that clam up so fast. It did. It 100%. Like when my wife and I got together for the very first time, like went out on like a date. She got really irritated at me because I wouldn't just kiss her at the end of the night. Like so our first kiss, parking lot of a Circuit City. That's how old your erstwhile host
This is a
is.
weird date, man.
Yeah, it was a weird. Well, so we went.
Hey, do you want to go to the Circuit
Hey, you want to
City?
go to the Circuit City? I heard they're only
They got
about
a
5 minutes
sale.
from closing down. Would you would you like to get romantic amongst the aisles of closeouts? Is that what you'd like? I'm
I
sure there's
will
at least
buy
one
you a
CRT television in there.
reasonably priced 13-inch TV.
No, we went dancing. We went dancing at Lodo. It was a good night. It was a good night. It was a good
And it
night.
happened to be in a Circuit City parking lot.
So the Lodos was right across from Circuit City.
Okay.
Yes. So it made sense. And that was the only parking because, like, it's Lodo's down in the suburbs. So on a Friday or a Saturday night, that place is just absolutely jam packed, full of suburban moms trying to hook up and cheat on their husbands. That's what my assumption is, at least.
That's what Lodos is to you.
That's what that's what Lodos is to me. Buffalo Wild Wings is
What
my
can I
version
just say?
of fucking suburban hell.
I won't use any names of people just in case it ever gets to this, this podcast gets to that point. But
Sure.
so a friend that I had gone to Lodos with a very long time ago, basically met her boyfriend. It was a group of us that went, and her boyfriend, not her husband, picked her up.
Oh my.
From the goddamn Lodos.
Oh my.
So, yeah, verified.
So
Lodos is
100%
for
100%
suburban
verified. Yeah.
housewives that are cheating.
Horny cheating suburban housewives. Awesome. Ladies, you know where to go. Gentlemen, you know where to go to prey on those ladies. You're welcome, everybody. This is a public service announcement. Make sure everybody gets consent, please. Ask before you kiss them. Get that clam dried up.
Oh man.
I'm sorry.
Lodos.
I'm sorry. I don't mean to refer to the female genitalia as the clam. It's just
I wasn't sure what you were gonna go with. I was like, you might say dried up or the clam.
the clam.
I don't remember
You know what?
refer to it as dried up.
I gotta tell you, it makes total sense when you talk to my wife and you're like, hey, what turns you on that Will says, and she looks at you and goes, I really love it when he says, give me some of that clam.
The clam. Give me some of that clam juice.
Give me some of that clam juice. I'm gonna make a
I'll
clam
have
chowder.
a clamato tonight.
That's only once a month. That's only.
That is disturbing
I know. I'm not happy with it.
and hilarious.
It came from my brain, and I'm not happy with it. Welcome to the Save vs. Poison podcast, the podcast dedicated to gaming, general geekery, and enduring sobriety in an ever-maddening society, with your host Will and two guys that probably live under his stairs. If you're an addict, know an addict, or are just interested in exploring the outer mysteries of geekery, you're in the right place. Without further ado, let's get to the show. Welcome back to the show, everybody. My name is Will. I'm your host for this Season 4's 17th episode. Season 4's 17th episode. There we go. I flubbed it. It fucking happens. You're going to be fine, okay? You're all going to be fine, even though I flubbed it. You're going to move past it. You're going to grow. You're going to learn. You're going to experience so many wonderful things in your lives. But for right now, I'm really excited to be talking with all of you about all the geeky, alcohol-y, goofy shit that we do once a week. Joining me tonight, he once tried to get out of jury duty by self-consummating in court. The judge was so impressed that he stated, nice wrist action. Juror number 4 is excused. He's our friend Steve. I still think that is a legendary story of how you skirted jurisprudence by yanking on your crank.
I mean, they said go fuck yourself.
Yeah, they really did.
So I did.
Yeah. You did. The lawyer said, "Go fuck yourself." So I don't know what to do. I was in. They had a position of authority over you. What else do you do, man? What else do you do?
You gotta listen to him. I
You
guess.
gotta listen to him, buddy. Tiki is not going to be joining us tonight, as he mistakenly thought that Charlie Sheen came out with a new lubricant and is trying to scrape off a whole mess of Tiger Balm. He will not be joining us tonight. That's a recycling. That's a recycling of a joke that my wife will find very funny. And if TJ ever listens, wink to you, buddy. Wink to you. Good evening, Steve.
Good evening, Steve.
What?
I don't know.
I'm not Steve. You're Steve. Wait, am I Steve?
Might be.
Did we switch? Am I suddenly a lot more confident than I should be?
I don't know. How do you feel?
Really confident. And I don't know why.
Like confident enough to jerk it in a courtroom?
I mean, maybe I do. You know what? I am wearing a sleeveless shirt right now.
Not sure what that
And
has to do with anything.
I gotta tell you, my confidence levels are off. My shoulders are looking ropey these days.
Ropey.
Ropey, which
That
is one of
doesn't
my
sound-
favorite adjectives, by the way.
But that doesn't sound like impressive. That sounds like
Like thick and
not
ropey.
impressive.
No,
No,
not
it sounds more
stringy.
like stringy. Yeah,
Not
that's what I think
string-
when you say
ropey.
ropey. Nah,
Ropey,
I
like
think stringy. I don't think that's. Pick a different one.
my shoulders are looking snaky. I don't know.
Jacked.
Jacked. They are looking pretty jacked right now.
Yeah, I don't know,
It's
man.
nice.
Just
It's nice.
ropey.
Ropey. I liked ropey.
Mm.
I use that adjective when I talk about peeing sometimes too.
See, that's
Thick,
exactly.
ropey stream.
Ropey.
Yeah, but it's also it's always in in terms of how much girth is happening. I don't say stringy stream. I don't. Whenever I hear like somebody like let off a big load like you did in court, they were slinging ropes.
Slinging ropes.
That's what they were doing. They were
Silly string.
Peter Parker. That's still one of my favorite jokes ever. So, yeah, I'm feeling confident. I worked out today, but I didn't get a shower in, so my office smells extra awesome right now.
Glad we are not in the same space.
Do not come in here, friends. Do not come in here. No, it was a good workout. It was a good day. Got a bunch of stuff done. Tomorrow is the wife and I's anniversary. 15 years. 2 of them were good. But luckily they were the last 2 years. So I'm kidding. Most of our marriage has been pretty amazing, and then the last couple of years have been absolutely the best of our time circling this globe together.
Well, congratulations.
Thanks, buddy. Appreciate that.
Yeah.
I think we're gonna go see Chad Daniels this weekend. He's a stand-up comic that we really like.
It was that or a country singer, one of the two.
Yeah, he really does have just that kind of name, right? Like,
Yeah.
we're gonna go see Chad Daniels. Oh, really? Fantastic! That guy probably sounds like he knows exactly what his way around a guitar and some sad lyrics that you might hear on a dusty trail.
That or my other thought was like, you gotten into NASCAR?
Yeah, finally. I love taking a left. I don't know. Hanging a Louis does just fucking does it for me.
Chad Daniels.
Chad Daniels.
I feel like you should say his name like after he does anything cool.
Does anything
Chad
good.
Daniels.
I went to see some stand-up comedy this weekend. Chad Daniels. I really kind of wish that he would do that now. I think that there's space for him to be able to do that because he does have that kind of name. He's got a Chad name. He's got a Chad name. He actually, I think the last time that we saw him, he actually pointed that out. He was like, "Yes, my name is Chad. It's basically just the dude version of Karen." Which I was like, kinda, maybe.
Kyle is the
little
dude
bit.
version of Karen.
Kyle is?
Yeah.
I don't see Kyle ever asking for the manager unless he's going to give him a hug.
Well, not our Kyle.
Yeah.
Our Kyle's gonna be.
I only know like 3 Kyles, and he's the one that I saw the most recently. So, like that
Just saying.
Kyle is just a big sweet mush puff with terrible memory.
Yeah, yeah, he is.
It was so funny. Like the beginning of the day, doing the recording, I'm like, "Yeah, are you gonna be able to remember everything?" And he's like, "Yeah, man. I know. Yeah, man. What are we doing?" Someone's gonna have to like put my lines down for me, man. I don't know why he doesn't sound like that at all. It's just my generic stoner voice.
In case you didn't know, he's a stoner.
Yeah, he's a bit of a stoner. He likes his stoniness. He enjoys it. Steve, how the hell are you this week, man?
I'm all right. Yeah.
Yeah, doing okay.
It was a busy weekend. Super busy weekend.
Birthday stuff, you said.
Birthday stuff. We celebrated. So between the two families, from the 8th to the 12th, every day has a birthday except one.
Wow.
And we celebrated them all last weekend.
Wow.
And we, to make up for that one that doesn't have a birthday, we celebrated a birthday that we missed in September. So we just filled that gap.
Okay. Was one of them your birthday?
No.
Am I a
No.
terrible friend and
No,
completely missed your birthday?
no, not my birthday.
Good. I I didn't think so. I
Trust
thought it was
me,
like
I'm way too ego maniac to not have
to
mentioned
share your birthday
Yeah.
with 3 other people. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I could see that.
Um, no, but it was cool. Saturday were my sisters, two of my sisters,
Okay.
and we got to eat one of my favorite meals, deep fried burritos.
Oh.
Not chimichangas, deep fried burritos.
Okay. So what's the difference? You'll have to explain to.
I mean, so the way my family's always done deep fried burritos, it's always it's just it's a slightly different dough, slightly different tortilla dough,
Okay.
and it's chorizo and just
Ooh.
beans, and it's fan fucking tastic.
Ooh,
I
I
was
would eat
real.
that.
I was a happy camper on Saturday.
I don't doubt it until
Yeah.
like the heartburn hit later.
Yo, I knew that was gonna happen. So
Yeah.
I
You're like
actually,
you're like Omeprazole, Prilosec, Tums.
just gonna eat it all.
Just gonna eat all of it.
So that was cool, and then we did the pumpkin patch as well as celebrating the other birthdays on my wife's side
Nice.
on Sunday. That was a lot of fun too. Delicious chocolate cake,
Mm.
and yeah, so, some fall activities like some pumpkin patch.
I had a couple of handfuls of peanuts and 2 pieces of dark chocolate. That's what I've had for fucking.
I ate
since
like
God damn it!
half of a large pizza.
Oh,
a
shut up!
huge slice of cake.
Shut up! That sounds so good. I want to. Have a pizza.
I didn't think I was going to, but then I realized that I was like, oh fuck, I've eaten like 4 slices.
In for a penny, in for a pound.
Yeah. So
That's a sunk cost fallacy, my friend. You don't
The
have to.
diet's going
do
well.
that. Yeah, diet's going well. I've gained a loop on my belt, and that was actually intended.
It's the goal, right? Is
Yeah.
to get bigger. So actually, you know what's funny about me getting fat?
Hey, go ahead. Tell me what's funny about that.
So a friend of mine sent me a picture today from about I don't know, 10, 15 years ago,
Mhm.
and easily about 40-ish pounds ago.
Yeah.
And man, that kid, that highly intoxicated kid sitting on a roof, just so skinny.
Yeah.
Fuck him.
Fuck
Fuck
that
him
kid.
and
Fuck
his
him.
weirdly Asian looking face.
Is that the first thing that came to mind when you saw that picture of yourself?
Oh, 100%. So it's a friend of. I'm sitting with my friend. I'm kind of leaning on her shoulder, and I made some comment. I was like, "Who's your I want to say Asian friend?" But yeah, so I got some reminiscing in. That was kind of cool.
That's nice. That's
Yeah.
nice.
I used to be skinny.
We all have our gardens to tend, my friend. We all have our gardens to tend.
And if by tending you mean eating half a pizza,
Just lots of manure. Just lots of fertilizer. You can't
Goodness.
grow without fertilizer.
I like to think of it as I'm working on my winter coat.
Sounds like that's been a work in progress for a little
Yeah,
while.
see? Come this winter, you're gonna be all cold because you got no fat on you.
It's
You're
not
all like,
even like
you can
this
see my
winter.
abs,
It's
and you're gonna be all
already
like,
it was
"Fuck me,
70
it's
degrees
cold."
yesterday, and I'm like, ooh, picking up a chill.
yeah, and I'm gonna be like, I'm perfectly fine.
It's like I'm looking at the dog, going, man, wouldn't it be great if I could just grow a pelt like that? That'd be so great. If I just had like more fur than I actually do. That'd be
More
so
fur.
good. More fur. Well, I got the fuzz in the back.
William, how are you? How was your weekend?
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, everything was okay. We're finishing off the basement stuff. We're at 99.9% done. There's a tiny amount of stuff to get done. And we did the final push for most of it this last weekend. So it was a lot of not having very much time for the self and trying to get stuff done, and between working out and then kid stuff, and then trying to get the basement done. I mean, that's been how it's been for the last 2 weeks. So the only time that I have to really relax has been the times when I've said, oh, it's for my sobriety, I'm gonna go stream on Twitch. Haha. And then of course I have that very specifically as my like.
It just I see you like.
I know how it fucking sounds. I
Well,
know
no,
how
no. I
like
just
it's
get
so.
this mental image of an outburst at your wife when you just need something like, it's for my sobriety.
I start using that for like everything.
Yeah.
So, oh, I can't go see your family right now.
Don't you
Why?
want me to be
Well,
sober?
don't you want me to stay sober if I'm around them? I'm gonna fucking drink. that would be some heavy duty emotional blackmail there, and I am there for it, 100% there for it. So, baby, if you're listening and you're not smiling right now, or if you've got that disgusted smile face that you get when I'm pissing you off, but you're also amused, you're welcome.
You laughed. I'm off the hook.
Yep, you laughed. Your fault.
In the words of Homer Simpson, you laughed. I'm off the hook.
It's so true, though. It's so fucking true. I mean, it's not true. I don't know. I do have a little bit of guilt because I do have 3 nights a week for 3 hours. I play video games during kind of high traffic periods of the evening. And I do that very specifically because I'm trying to grow a sober community on a platform that doesn't have that yet. So I don't know how to feel about that sometimes. It's a lot of I've talked a little bit about the book that I'm reading right now, the In the Realm of Hungry Ghosts by Gabor Mate, Dr. Gabor Mate, who he's an interesting dude. The book is really interesting, and it's bringing up like 1.5 million different questions that have been that I've been entertaining on a kind of a thought exercise kind of level. Like I don't know if they apply 100% across the spectrum, but I do have feelings towards certain of his sort of descriptive positions that have definitely, kicked off ideas, thoughts, notions and feelings. And it's, yeah. And my relationship with Twitch, with video games, with all of these it's all wrapped up in all of it. And that's something that we can talk about in a little bit when we go into, talking about the sobriety stuff. Tonight's going to be kind of a rambling night. We're going to talk about something alcohol related. We're going to talk about something geek related, but, to say that I put a lot of effort into what we're going to talk about tonight would be wrong and not correct at all. I kind of just want to clear some cobwebs out, I guess. Like most of the time we have like a specific focus for both the alcoholism and the geeky stuff. But tonight, a little bit less focused, which I know sounds like it's a lot less focused because our normal focus isn't that focused. There's PSYOP Steve. So, anyways. My name is Will. I'm an alcoholic.
My name's Steve. I'm not an alcoholic. And not to steal Ticky's thunder too much, but Morbius is quite possibly the worst movie I've ever watched.
Wow. That's surprising. That's surprising.
I just tried to watch it this past weekend, and I do mean tried. It is.
Does he say it's Morbin time?
I mean, he should have. He should have.
I thought he said it's Morbin time.
It's such an unfocused piece of like, what the fuck? Like, why is this character doing this? Why is any of this happening? None of this makes any sense.
I mean, that movie was in production hell for like 4 years.
Oh God,
it took forever. I think Jared Leto still had like reasonable claim to fame.
Well,
when he started filming,
when they first announced it, I was very against it because who cares? It's such a
niche
F tier Spider-Man quasi villain Spider-Man. It's just like such a random left field character that just doesn't matter. And I was like, I don't want to see a movie about this. And then when like the first stuff started coming out, like saw the first kind of previews, you're like, actually, this might be kind of cool. Nope. First thing was right. It was really, really bad.
Mistakes were made.
Oh, and I sat through Dino Shark. Um, I mean, again, I don't have the willpower of Tiki with some of these. Um,
I don't think it's willpower. Okay, I honestly don't. I think that he sees his Amazon Prime account and he's like, I'm gonna get every
he
goddamn
sees
dollar
it as a
worth of value.
challenge.
Like he sees it as a challenge because he spends, money on the Prime subscription service. He's like, I'm gonna get every goddamn
I
dollar's
mean,
worth out of
you
this
gotta
thing.
watch the weird Russian Avengers that's on there.
Oh fuck me, I don't want to watch that at all. Like I don't like. I recognize that he has some boredom stuff going on, but I have so many fucking hobbies that the idea of sitting down and watching something that will make my brains liquefy and bleed out through all of my head holes just absolutely does not interest me, and I don't know how he does it. I'm only half kidding when I'm like, why do you do this to me? I'm only half kidding when I say that. And most of the time, I'm not even that half kidding. I'm fully not kidding. I am 100%. Why do you do this to me?
Well, like I said,
Santo.
Yes, Santos. It was great, Santos. But yeah, Morbius, real bad.
Wow. Well, that's good.
Really not good.
That's good.
We'll have to get Tiki's take on it.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
When he's
Yeah, I
back.
mean,
Pun intended.
maybe one of these days, yeah, seriously. One of these days, we'll have to ask him what his top 5 big budget shitty
Terrible
movies
movies.
that
Yeah.
should have been
Oh, that's a good
his
question
low
for him.
budget. That I actually think that would be better than listening to like a review of a bad movie, because then we could like critique the bad movies. Because
Disagree with
the
it.
ones that I've been most keyed into, oddly enough, they're all Nicolas Cage movies.
When he says Deep Blue Sea, I'll be like, "You are wrong,
You are
sir.
wrong, you motherfucker. Is that the
LL
one with
Cool J
Samuel
is
L.
a
Jackson?
gem."
Was Samuel L. Jackson in that one?
No. Yeah.
No?
Yes.
Yeah,
yes.
he was.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah,
He gets
yeah.
eaten.
He gets
Yeah.
eaten. That's what I thought. Yeah.
He
Yeah.
doesn't make it the whole movie.
That's okay. He can't make it the whole movie, every movie.
I mean, you know what happens.
No, he dies a lot in movies, doesn't he? Died in Django. Died in Pulp Fiction. Oh, do you remember The Long Kiss Goodnight? That was a good movie.
I do remember the Long Kiss
I like
Goodnight.
that. I didn't think Gina Davis could pull off an action buddy comedy, and she didn't. she was really bad in it. But like it was the very first time that I ever saw Brian Cox. It was a good role for Samuel L., who was not headlining anything at the time. So yeah, I actually enjoyed that movie. Thought it was pretty funny. Anyways, all right. Cheers. Yeah, I'm an alcoholic. That's new.
What's new?
What's fucking new? I have not had any big market cravings this week. I did put out on Twitter that now is the time. Like Oktoberfest beers are for me what pumpkin spice is to white women, which makes this the worst time of year for beer for me, which is true, which is 100% true. We talked about walking down the aisles and seeing the Oktoberfests, like Sam Adams Oktoberfest beer, which I have very fond memories of drinking and enjoying with friends and friendly friends. One of the things that kind of struck me as kind of interesting when we talked about when we had the toxic masculinity talk was, I didn't think that Tiki defended toxic masculinity, but he did defend that there were good times that were had, and that's very, very true. There were good times that were had while I was drinking. Not every single time that I got drunk did it turn into a big gigantic problem. It's just that on the whole, the further along the path I got, the more likely it was that a night of me drinking would turn into a bad situation for myself or my loved ones. So that was, and that's always important to keep in mind. But to say that I didn't have good time, like after hockey, having a couple of beers after hockey was always one of my favorite things to do. That was always a time. Like Coors Light was so fucking delicious after I got off the ice. and I couldn't drink anything heavier than that
Because it was water.
because it was water. Yeah, basically just alka water. It was Waterhall.
Water all.
It was Waterhall. So yeah. But other than that, I think the only other kind of craving kind of thing that I had was on the Twitch stream. I've been letting other people talk for me a little bit, and by other people I mean I've been introducing like YouTube clips. So this last week we had a clip of Dax Shepard, who is famously in recovery, and had a great interview with a guy named Sam Jones on a show called Off Camera. And they talk about addiction and how rock bottom isn't like a one-time thing necessarily. Like you can have a lot of rock bottoms before you get to a place where you're ready to say, okay, I need to make some changes. But while I was looking for that clip, I found a bunch of other clips. Same show, same host, so Sam Jones Off Camera, same stuff, same format, with like 5 or 6 people who are all talking about their sobriety. And I was like, man, now I can really never have a beer with them because not only can I not drink, they can't drink either. And like that was sort of really stupid thinking because like I'm not going to have a beer with anyone ever, hopefully. That's the hope, right? Like that's where I always want to. I want to always be in that place where I'm not making a bad decision to drink. So when my brain threw that out, where you'll never share a cocktail with John Goodman because John Goodman's in recovery. Well, I mean, proximity wise, that's probably true. So I guess there's that, but also John Goodman's sober, I'm sober. Any one of those 3 things is literally enough to not have a drink with John Goodman.
I just enjoy that, like, that at some level in your head, the hurdle is that you're both sober.
Yeah.
Not that like you don't know each other.
Yeah.
There's
it's not 6 degrees of
different social circles going on. That's not the hurdle.
You don't know. This podcast could pick up. Maybe
it absolutely could.
Maybe he hears it someday and he's like,
hope it
"Hey,
does.
Will, let's talk about old episodes of Roseanne." I'm like, "Okay, let's do that, man. Can we talk about Community? I like that. Why did you have a ponytail? Why did you fucking have a ponytail in
I hope
Community?
it was his decision too.
What was that? I don't understand that at all. And if you tell me that you're going through some stuff, that's not good enough. That was good enough for the show. It's not good enough for your new best friend, Will." That was a good in-joke. I feel really proud of that in-joke. If you haven't seen it, go watch the John Goodman episodes of Community, everybody. It's a great show. It was a great show. I thought. Steve thinks. So, yeah. Do you have anything to share tonight, Steve?
No, I don't think so.
No,
Yeah.
nothing sticking in your craw. Nothing rattling around in the old dome.
No, nothing of any relevance.
Okay.
Mostly, bad movies.
Mostly just the one bad movie.
One bad movie.
And Jared
Colored
Leto.
Colored a lot.
Go Morbin Ranger.
I mean, it would have been a better movie.
Ooh, just
Had
burped
that
on podcast. You're welcome, America and Belgium. All right. So the Gabor Mate stuff, the in the realm of Hungry Ghost. So one of his primary descriptive positions is that all addiction stems from not genetic but traumatic sources. Now, he defines trauma as anything that creates a possible long-lasting emotional stress. For a child, that could be anything from horrific things happening to you. Like, so the Gabor Mate is a physician that works primarily with addicts in the worst part of Vancouver. Now, you might be thinking to yourself, "Oh, it's the worst part of Vancouver. What's that look like? I bet it's just wall-to-wall hockey players and Tim Hortons donut restaurants." No, it's actually much like every other metropolitan city. It has a very seedy underbelly, and the Portland Hotel is a kind of a treatment center for the hard case addict. So when we talk about addiction, usually you don't hear stories like, at least not widespread stories like mine and like Ticky's, where I think that we kind of fall into the sort of moderate end of the alcoholism spectrum. I think the stories that you hear about Dr. Gabor Mate's stuff, those are the things that they make movies out of. Those are the worst of the worst kind of stories. So every single one of his patients, and this is, I don't know if this is anecdotal. I don't know if he's being hyperbolic when he says this, but he says like all the women have suffered extensive, intense sexual trauma. You know, raped as kids, raped as, molested as children, like all of it, like every terrible story that you hear, and that's like all of them. And then for the males, it's a combination of neglect, abuse, and sexual abuse. So like I said, I don't know if it's anecdotal, but his idea is that the genetic link is a fallacy, which I don't know if I agree with. I'm not a scientist. I don't really know all of the background on that. I know that there are some scientists who do disagree with him on that, but I can see a world where what Dr. Mate is saying is true. So if all of, and we're framing this all in his, all in what he says, if all addiction stems from trauma and I'm an addict, the logical thought path is, what was it about my childhood that was traumatic that possibly led me towards addiction? Now, there's a couple of like conditions that are synonymous with addiction, like things like attention deficit disorder is usually shown to have a higher likelihood of alcoholism or stimulant use, so cocaine, Adderall, abuse of Ritalin, methamphetamine, that kind of thing. And obviously I fall within the alcoholic spectrum, and I was a kid with ADD. So now I'm like looking back at my past and I'm like, okay, so if this all stems from trauma, what were the, like I'm trying to find the traumatic experiences in my past to pinpoint them. And I'm not 100% certain why I'm doing it. Maybe because I'm worried about, recreating those things with my children. Although I think that, between my wife and I, we're doing a pretty good job of not mirroring kind of the worst aspects of my childhood specifically. I think that my wife's childhood was a pretty happy one, pretty kind of, other than a divorce of her parents at the age of 12, which she was in favor of because she saw the two of them fighting. I think for the most part, she had a pretty, as far as traumatic experiences go, uneventful childhood. So I'm not sure like what to do with that particular line of thought, but it's one that's been percolating and rumbling around in my head, and I'm wondering if that's something that other people that I'm going to talk to about this, maybe people that are listening to the podcast right now, are going to start going over and be like, if they're going to feel kind of nebulous about it like I do, or if they're going to be, nope, I can pinpoint like 3 out of a possible, 10 traumatic experiences. Any one of these things could have been the thing that triggered me towards addiction. Because addiction in Dr. Mate's opinion is an attempt to self-soothe that trauma, that whatever that pain is. And because of the nature of the way that he approaches addiction, which is anything that brings short-term relief or pleasure that has an associated negative cost to it that you cannot stop doing even though you recognize the cost. That's what an addiction is in his book. So, like, his story is kind of interesting. He grew up, I think he said in Hungary, in communist Hungary, and escaped from the Nazis. His mother escaped with him from the Nazis, but like his grandparents, I think his father, were all exterminated as part of the Holocaust because his family is Jewish. So, can you hear my kid in the background?
Not me.
Okay, good. Goofy dude. Um, so he said his statement is he had a traumatic experience in his childhood that left scars, and his addiction is a shopping addiction. So in the beginning of his book, he's like, listen, I have an addiction. Here's what my addiction is. I am not comparing my addiction one to one with hardcore drug users. I am saying that I have an addiction. It negatively affects me. It has negatively affected my my relationship with my family. I've felt shame. I've hid. I've lied. I've done. I've spent thousands of dollars on this shopping addiction, and it's a specific shopping addiction for classical music, which is not something that you would ever kind of, I think, expect to hear from somebody. Like, what are you addicted to? Oh, that Chopin, man. I just can't pass up an opportunity to get another copy of Raindrops. Yeah, that's yeah. So I don't know. It's interesting. This book doesn't have much in the way of conclusions yet. I'm about 3/4 of the way through it, and it's definitely been interesting. It's definitely been inspiring. The first couple of chapters are just absolute horror stories and are 100% have been a 100% inspiration for me to keep sober in the last couple of weeks. like not that I needed too much more help, but it was sort of just like, yep, my sobriety meter is 100% full right now. Thank you, Dr. Gabor. Thank you. Appreciate that, buddy. Because oh my god, the stories of him treating a white supremacist who hates Jews, and he's a Jewish man. I mean, he will be one of the first people to admit that he does not have an infinite amount of patience. But I like, the guy feels like a saint as I'm listening to his son read the words that he wrote about some of the interactions that he's had with these people. Like whew, it's a lot. It's a lot. It's a fucking lot. So yeah, I had the ADHD when I was a kid. Maybe my parents not knowing how to reach me at certain stages of my life. And then of course I'm faced with the question, what the fuck do I do with that information? What do I do with it? Like, I've already talked to a therapist about almost all of these issues. Like, does it matter that much? I have motivation to stay sober. I think it's good motivation to stay sober. I think that it can give me a little bit more long-term perspective on my sobriety. But I don't know where to go with it. I don't know where to file it, other than as, maybe just a thought experiment, maybe just a little bit, deeper understanding of myself, which, I think that everybody should be kind of striving for, to a greater or lesser extent, depending on where they are on their journey to whatever self-actualization they want to be on. So, yeah. So yeah, like I said, really kind of rambly and a little bit open-ended. I don't have an actionable on this one. I'm gonna stay sober. I'm not gonna drink today. Don't think I'll drink tomorrow. Didn't drink yesterday. So yeah. That's what I got for sobriety stuff, man. What do you think?
It's interesting.
Yeah.
Actually, I kind of I enjoyed it. I enjoy the where you're left at with. I guess I like the open endedness. I like that there's no definite answer. Because I don't know that everything needs a definite answer. I don't know that it matters sometimes.
Yeah.
Um, I know that sounds dismissive, but that's not how I intend it when I say that.
No, I don't think it's dismissive at all. I mean, if I don't know what to do with this information, how would anybody else know what to do with it?
Yeah,
Right? Like,
it's just yeah, it's interesting. So
I don't know. I don't know. If nothing else, you know me a little bit better now than you did at the beginning of the show. Maybe. I don't know.
I mean, I feel like the discussion about clam juice really let me know you.
Yeah. That really did paint a picture, didn't it? This fucking misogynist calling ladies' genitalia clams. You should call it a beautiful flower. How is yours any better than mine? Fuck you. Just because you like flowers. What if I
Okay,
hate
you
fucking
fedora
flowers?
wearing neck beard.
Exactly. What
It's
if
a
I hate
beautiful
flowers?
flower.
What if all I want to do is bury my face in some clams linguine? What if that's the case? All right. What if I revere the clam as a beautiful gift from God, and I think that flowers are a trash plant? Huh? How about that? Little switch to
Clams
your.
are a beautiful gift from God, and I'm not even using them a euphemism. Like they're delicious,
They are.
specifically fried, but they don't even have to be fried.
I've never made you my clam chowder, have you? I gotta make
No.
that for you sometime. Like, that's not a euphemism for doing my wife and then letting you taste it. No. Like, I actually make a really good clam chowder, you guys. Like,
The fact that you had to clarify.
I think it's important for the audience. There's a lot of look, there was a lot of soul bearing going on for a little
Wingman
while.
clam
I felt
chowder.
like we needed a little joke there. We need a little bit of a disgusting joke to
Exactly.
bring you people back to exactly what it is we are and who we do. Wait,
Say it.
who
Say
who
chowder.
we are and what chata. Say chata. So yeah. Yeah. I've been wrestling with that. I didn't know how to put it into words, most of that. Because I'm out. I listen to that book when I walk the dog. I walk the dog like 3-4 times a day, and it's 20 to 30 minute walks each time because he's a bit of a mad lad, that dog. No, he's a very sweet dog. But so I'm listening to about an hour of that book a day, and there's so much. There's a lot there. There's a lot there. And there's a lot there in ways that I didn't expect there to be. Like, what if the genetic thing is actually false? What if that's there is no genetic link between addiction and the self? What if that actually exists? Well, my position has always been that doesn't absolve me of any of the responsibilities for the things that I've done anyways, so it really doesn't change too much for me. Because I always thought that the genetic link was something that needed to be understood, but it couldn't be used as a cop-out, right?
Yeah.
But now there's this other portion to it, which says that all addiction stems from trauma. Well, did I inflict that trauma on myself, or did somebody inflict that trauma on me? And if so, does the buck pass to them? Does it matter? I feel like I have to stick to this principled place where, regardless of where the source is, the only thing that I can do with that information is try not to allow it to infect the next generation. It's the toxic masculinity thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
I can't be toxic to the next generation of dudes that look up to me if I want them to not do the things that I did, the mistakes that I made, right? Same kind of thing. But as far as the way that I treat my sobriety, I don't think that that changes anything for me. I don't think that it can. I think that I have to continue to recognize that while I don't have fault is not the important part. Responsibility is the important part. So even if I did have somebody to blame, it doesn't do me any good. It doesn't do them any good. it's all just a matter of me taking responsibility for my previous actions while I was actively using, making up for those, apologizing for that, not allowing that behavior to continue, and then managing my sobriety as I move forward. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that sounds right, and it sounds like it's within my sort of principled position on how I need to approach my sobriety. And I'm wondering what your thoughts out there in Radioland are, everybody. Come to the Discord. You can find the link amongst the Twitter stuff at @versus_save.
Or let him know on Twitter.
Or let me know on Twitter at @_save. Or at VS_save. Yeah, at VS_save. Yeah. Find us, Save versus Poison. We're a podcast, you guys. If you're listening to us, you know.
If you're listening to this podcast,
You're
you
already
figured
there.
that out.
Yeah, you figured
If you've gotten this far into the episode,
Good job.
I hope you know that this is a podcast you're listening to
Fuck, I thought this was Julia Child.
and not some sort of weird message from God.
Back from the dead, gonna tell us clams linguine. Where's that recipe, you sons of bitches?
Where's it at?
I'll share the recipe. You know what? I'll share the recipe on the Facebook page. There we go. Won't that be nice of me? Some clams linguine on the Facebook page. Take your garlic, take your clams, take your linguine. Boom.
It's such an easy thing to make. It is one of my favorites too because people think it's so complicated. They get super easily impressed by it. They're like, "Oh, you made that? Fuck yeah, I made that."
Actually, you know what? You know what I think is really impressive? Anytime you can take just a tiny amount of ingredients. Like, one of my favorite Italian recipes is cacio e pepe.
I knew you were going to say that.
I fucking love that dish, dude. You knew I was going to say that?
I did.
Why? Because you love
like,
it too?
No, because it's like the simplest thing. It's like
it's
3 ingredients.
It's four ingredients, but yeah.
4 ingredients? Okay.
Yeah, it's the pasta water, pepper, Parmesan cheese.
Pasta water doesn't count.
It does.
Does not count as
What would you do with that pasta water normally?
Okay, so...
Oh, you fucking got lawyered, son.
No. That's actually, sir.
I'm editing out whatever you say now, all right? There, Mr. Jerks Off in court.
No, so, okay. This is going to be a long one. A little rambling here.
Oh, lordy. It's all right. The sobriety stuff was over anyway, so ramble at me. Go ahead.
So, me and mostly my wife, but I watch it with her sometimes, is obsessed with a show called The Kitchen on Food Network. The Kitchen has 4 or 5 chefs on there doing different recipes. It's very, very, like, middle-aged person show. I mean, it just is. Anyways.
So, us.
Yeah, basically, we are very much their target demographic. At any rate, so one of the hosts on that show made some stupid comment about... this is me lawyering you, by the way.
Okay, go ahead.
Stupid comment about how they wish that they could jar pasta water and just sell jars of pasta water. And all the other hosts were like, "Oh yeah, that's a great idea." Blah 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 blah. This is a stupid idea. Do you know why it's a stupid idea? Is it worse
than my idea of hot dogs in cigar-style containers?
No, because that's at least entertaining. Wait, so then yes, it is worse.
Meat
the
tube
reason that it's stupid to jar pasta water is because in what scenario do you need pasta water where you haven't already made pasta?
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, but that's
just dumb. So you've made the pasta, you have the pasta water, not a separate ingredient.
I disagree because you would normally throw that out.
Not necessarily. I feel
would.
like enough.
You're not saving your pasta water for later.
Enough recipes call for reserving a little pasta water. That I think it is not a separate recipe.
I think it's a separate entity.
Ingredient,
It's a separate ingredient. Ladies and gentlemen of the audience, please weigh in
on this
at
weird
@versus_save on this weird argument. This bizarre argument. Is pasta water an extra ingredient or not? You can also find us on Discord. Or you can show up Wednesday, Friday, or Sunday nights, 7 p.m. Mountain Standard
You get on
Time.
there and you tell him that it is not a separate ingredient.
Save versus Poison Pod. It 100% is. All right, Team Steve or Team Will. All right. So Bo, who we had on the show a while ago, who wanted to have a conversation about the distinction and whether or not it was important to identify as an alcoholic or not if you were able to move yourself away from a relationship with alcohol and you were self-medicating for PTSD or for depression. That was a good episode. I enjoyed that episode. But he sent us something geeky, something deeply geeky. This is a geek turducken, everybody. So in the 1997 season of The Simpsons, Milhouse plays an arcade game based on Kevin Costner's unbelievable, phenomenal $200 million world record setting blockbuster movie, Waterworld, starring Gene Triplehorn, Dennis Hopper, and Kevin Costner. And Kim Coates, which was kind of cool. Not for sale, not for sale. Paper. I don't know if you guys remember that movie. But it's still one of Steve and I's guilty pleasure movies. We've actually held hands while watching it.
You got to hold hands while watching it.
I feel it's such a roller coaster that when you see the Fishman Kevin Costner, you have to like throw your hands up in the air and scream like you are on a roller coaster. That's how good that movie is. Well, somebody decided they were going to make a game based off of the fake arcade game in a 1997 episode of The Simpsons. And this exists now. And I'm going to put the link up in our Discord. So if you're interested, please go take a look at this game. Let's just say that it's a name your own price game, which I feel is a gamble. But it's got the art direction from it looks like an arcade game that you would find in The Simpsons. It's so beautifully poorly drawn. I feel like if Tiki were to switch focus to video games that were bad, this could be the first video game that he reviewed, and he would say things like, absolutely awful. The only way this would be worse is if Jared Leto played a vampire in it. Why isn't this Santos starring Kevin Costner's Waterworld? Like, that's how bad this game looks. But the reviews for it are great. Graphics look cool. By the way, I also shared my first game, so you can check it out if you're reading this. So obviously, bullshit. 3 of these are in a language I don't understand. But let's read the blurb real quick. A large-scale reimagining of the fake Waterworld arcade game that Milhouse plays during a 10-second joke in a 1997 episode of The Simpsons. All the greatest and most memorable parts of the movie are recreated here in Simpsons video game form. Oh, if that doesn't make you want to go out and spend 73 cents on this game, because you can name your own price. And I think 73 cents sounds about exactly right. Then get you over to the link that I will provide in the Discord. Go find the Discord; it exists. You want to be there anyways. Let's be honest. You want to be there anyways. So there, that I just linked it now. You guys will have access to the link a day before you have access to the podcast describing the link. I'm also going to tell everybody not to ask about the link.
What is this? Just click it.
Don't ask about the link. Just click and love it. That's what I put in the Discord. So, anyways, all right. So I got about 8 minutes left in the show. Steve, if I had all the money in the world, you know what I would do?
Make a spectacular linguine clams.
I really would. I would get the finest clams.
The finest. You would
The
redo
finest clams.
Redo the Morbius movie to be more in line with the Power Rangers mythos.
Oh, 100%. Oh, wouldn't it be great if Rita was in that?
I mean,
Oh, you Power Ranger Morbius, I guess.
I
That'd be
guess I
great.
don't know what I'm doing here.
What's happening here? Ay, ah.
The crossover event nobody asked
Nobody,
for.
nobody asked for it, and nobody went and saw. Actually, there'd be like 5 of us that went and saw that. Yeah, we'd
No, I
see
think
it.
a lot
God
more
damn
people
it.
would see it if
We
we
would
did
see it.
this.
Yeah. No, Steve. I would have all of the consoles. I would always have all the consoles. I've never understood console wars. The Xbox, PS4, PS5, the Microsoft, Sony, PC delineations. I don't get. And
Nintendo.
is that even a game company? Come on.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm kidding. They really do make some of the best games on the
Back in the
market.
day, Nintendo, Sega.
It was back in the day Nintendo said, and it was always Nintendo.
It was always Nintendo.
It was always Nintendo. It's
I mean,
still
what were you gonna
kind
do?
of like
Play a game about a fucking dolphin on
play
the Sega?
Altered Beast. Come on, nobody's
mean-
playing Altered Beast. All right, Golden Axe. Fuck that game.
Dreamcast.
Actually, Echo the Dolphin was a pretty fun game.
I know.
Right now, like one
Shinobi.
friend of the show, Lethal is like, "Fuck you, motherfucker! Sonic is the best game on earth."
People love Sonic.
At least he does. I don't know about people, but
No,
he has
people
a
do,
Twitch
like-
stream. He has a Twitch stream where he plays Sonic the Hedgehog like emulators on
Yeah,
his PC.
one of my favorite YouTubers. Shout out to Blue Television Games. Does a lot of like Sonic mods and shit like that. Like, there's some funny ones out there. He plays the one where the rings are onion rings, and every time Sonic eats one, he gets fatter to the point where he can't like go fast anymore.
Does he eventually turn into Robotnik?
I don't know what the
That'd be a great plot twist.
I don't think that's it. I think you just get so fat you can't move and you basically end up dying. Like I forget how you have to like manage it. It's been a
Because you
while.
can't get to the toilet on time? I've worried about that before. Steve, you might get there someday, buddy.
I'm working on it.
Yeah, buddy.
4 slices of pizza.
4 slices of pizza. But yeah, I my bad, Nintendo. I apologize. But for the longest time, I was a Nintendo fanboy. I still, and this amazes people, I've never played a Halo game. Never, ever, ever. Had no interest in playing Halo. I didn't have an Xbox until I got the Xbox One, maybe a year and a half ago, and I still haven't played very much on it. I bought that mostly just so I could have Titanfall 2, but then Titanfall 2 came out on Steam, and the only reason that I love my PC as much as I do is because Steam allows me to play like a million games, and for the most part, a lot of those games are all like low priced or discounted or they're indies that only cost like 15-20 bucks instead of, paying for the AAA titles on the primary consoles. But you're big into the PlayStation thing. Like I asked you, would you get if money were not an object, would you get an Xbox?
Yeah,
if I gave you an Xbox,
Well, that's okay. That's
would you
different.
burn
That
the
doesn't
Xbox
count.
in effigy? Would you like set it
No,
set it alight on
I would
your front
absolutely
lawn?
have it. If you just gave me one, like if I had like a contest or something that I won one, yeah, I would absolutely have it.
Right now, there are PlayStation fans that are like, Steve's not one of us.
No, it's you fucking sellout.
Fucking so traitor to the cause.
I have to admit that I absolutely weirdly, in more ways than one, buy into the tribalism sometimes. For I don't know why.
Yeah, why? Like
I don't know why.
I mean,
Because I guess PlayStation was like the first console that I had that was mine. Like I had the PlayStation 1.
uh-huh.
And like that was mine. It was in my room, and I got to play it, and those games were mine. And I always just enjoyed those games. My favorite games were on there, and not on Xbox when it came out.
Yeah.
And the Xbox controller was strange and weird, and I didn't like it.
It is
it's
it
the
was a
same
weird
controller.
controller. Yeah.
So yeah, I have always been just been a PlayStation guy.
Yeah.
I mean, Nintendo too. I have my Switch and whatnot, and I'm
Is
always.
it? It's your kid's Switch. Come on.
Well, he actually, so he kind of broke his, and so it's taken over mine. But
Oh no.
yeah, but that's a whole other thing. No, no,
Yeah.
I had like, I got this my Switch. He has his. I have, so I Nintendo's always there. Nintendo is a classic, but
Sure.
yeah, I've never, like you said, I've never played Halo. I've not really been had any interest in playing it. When Destiny came out, I was like, this is close enough for me.
Yeah.
Like, I'd much rather play
Yeah.
this.
I mean, like I don't know. So we started playing Destiny on stream a couple weeks ago, and the individual instances of it are really fun, but the cohesive over arc of the game is really terrible. Like it's in a terrible, terrible state.
What do you mean?
So Halo is different because Halo is a single player with a multiplayer, right?
Sure.
So it's a linear story with
I mean, I guess I don't actually know.
well, so it's a linear story game. You start at X, you go all the way through to Z, or A to Z. Oh, excuse me, little hiccup there. Destiny kind of works like that, but there's the hub system where you can travel to like different places, and there's a bunch of open world stuff to do, but it's all kind of sloppy. It's not particularly well curated, in my opinion. I feel like there's a lot of ambiguity as to what you're supposed to be doing at any point in time. There's no really clear progression path. You're just kind of like whatever you do, you kind of you kind of make progress up until a point. And I don't know that that's necessarily a good thing. I think that having a curated story for players to play, like when Destiny 2 came out and you got to play through the Red War thing, I actually really enjoyed that. I thought that was fun. I thought that they could have done more with the whole you lose your powers, and maybe, there could have been some story elements where you gain a different set of skills or power. Like, story wise, you were less powerful, but in game wise, like you got to pick up like new technology pieces of the time. Like, you went on, you figured out how to incorporate the war mind into your armor or something.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. Like other ways of becoming powerful that weren't specifically due to the Traveler, and then suddenly you get the Traveler back eventually, and you're more powerful and you're more invested, and you go through the story. And I thought that could have been a really good thing, but it just feels like it's kind of slapdash. And while I've had some fun playing with other people, actually I've had a really good time playing with other people. It was always like, okay, so we have this one senior guy who's going to take us through this dungeon or this mission or this raid, and we have guidance from above, kind of a thing. It wasn't the game guiding us, it was one of our peers or friends guiding us. And I feel like they could have done a much, much cleaner job of having the game guide you through. But I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm right. Maybe I'm wrong. Probably wrong. Probably right. Who knows? Who fucking knows? So yeah, the whole Halo thing. I don't know. I just think it's weird that people are like like the PC Master Race thing. One, I don't think it's comfortable to call anything Master Race anymore.
Yeah.
I think you shouldn't do that.
Maybe don't do that.
So yeah, we're the PC Master Race. It's like, what does that mean? You're all blonde Aryan and you don't say ethnic slurs? Is that what the politically correct Master Race would do? I don't know what to say right now. It's all very weird. It's a weird way of putting things. Do you think that PC gaming is the epic or the apex of gaming? I mean, kind of. Consoles are kind of limited in what they can do because everything ships with the exact same, chip and processor, where there's, seemingly no end to what you can do on a PC, provided you've got the money for it.
Yeah, it's just a lot of investment.
It is a lot of investment. I mean, I have an by today's standards, a pretty ancient computer, and it still runs, 90% of things really, really well because I put a decent chunk of change into it a while ago. So, yeah. Yeah. I don't know. Just play the stuff, everybody. Play all the things.
I agree with that. Like I said, I don't understand my own tribalism,
Yeah.
but I have it.
But it exists, and you're not
But
doing
it
a
exists.
goddamn thing to change it.
Yeah, no, I like again, if you gave me all the unlimited money, I would not go buy an Xbox.
Yeah.
I'd go get me a goddamn PlayStation 5. Like, I'd pay the scalper for a PlayStation 5 at this point.
Pay that $600-700. Yeah. It's goddamn ridiculous.
It is. It's absurd. But I would.
Yeah.
I'd stick with what I love.
With what you've known and come to love. All right. Well, we're at about the hour, and I feel happy about this podcast. This was a good podcast. Thank you, Steve, for joining me again on another episode of the Save vs. Poison podcast. Much like every episode of the Save vs. Poison podcast, we like to shout out to the mutual support groups we hope you turn to in your time of need. Unless, Steve, you have something else you'd like to share.
No, we're good.
Okay, good.
You can wrap it up, man.
Thanks. Alcoholics Anonymous, AA.org, 212-870-3400. Moderation Management, moderation.org, 212-871-0974. Secular AA, that's SOSsobriety.org, 323-693-1633. Smart Recovery, smartrecovery.org, 440-951-5357. And Women for Sobriety, womenforsobriety.org, 215-536-8026. For those family and friends of addicts that need a little help in a group-type environment, there's Al-Anon family groups. They can be reached at al-anon.alateen.org or at 1-888-425-2666. From all of us here at the Save vs. Poison podcast, my name is Will.
I'm Steve.
And Ticky's not here because it burns. Good night, everybody. Warm, creamy regards. Clams linguine. You've just listened to another episode of the Save vs. Poison podcast. If you liked what you heard, please follow us, like, and subscribe on Twitter at @VS_save, on Facebook at the Save vs. Poison podcast, and streaming live on Twitch at twitch.tv/SVP podcast. Thanks so much for joining us, and stay safe, everyone.